Hello, dear students. Today we will do key skills reading and writing part, and active and passive voice will be our topic. So, why do we need active and passive voice? They are one of the effective way to affect writing. If you want to make your writing interesting and more structured grammatically, we need to understand the difference between active and passive voice. So what does mean voice? Voice indicates whether the subject of your sentence performing the action or receiving the action. There are two types of voice, active voice and passive voice. So active voice indicates that the subject of the sentence is performing the action, is doing the action. So what does mean? Let's see from several examples. For example, the duck jumped onto the boy. Who did or what did the action here? The duck, right? So the duck, subject of the sentence, is doing this jumping. Second example, Christy will give a book report to the class. Who will give a book report to the class in the future? Christy. So subject of the sentence is Christy will do the action in the future. So we call it active voice because the subject of the sentence is doing the action doer we call it. That's why it is active voice, active sentence. Third example, for example, the computer ate my paper in the past. Ate. The computer did the action in the past. The computer subject is eating, right? So it's doing the action. That is why we call it active voice. So now, what does mean then passive voice? As it says itself, passive. Here in the passive voice sentence, we don't pay attention, we don't emphasize the action there. The subject of the sentence is not doing the action, is perceiving the action. What does it mean? Let's see. For example, the boy was jumped on by the dog. See, the boy was jumped. The boy is not doing the action, but receiving the action by the duck. Okay, let's look here. A book report will be given by Christy to the class. So who will give the book report to the class? Christy. Do you remember in the active voice, Christy was the subject of the sentence and she was doing the action. But here, Christy is not important in the passive voice. The important is the same. Receiver, object of the sentence becomes the subject. A book report will be given. The action will be done by someone. So that's why the action there becomes here passive. We call it passive voice. My paper was eaten by the computer. Okay, again, the object of the sentence. My paper was object in the previous sentence, right? But here it became a subject of the sentence and was being eaten. Was being eaten. The verb was done by computer. Okay, now, so what is the form or rule of the passive voice? How can we create the passive voice? For example, active voice, John baked the bread. Who baked the bread? John. Action there is John. And we are emphasizing here is John. That's why it's active voice. But in the passive voice, we flip-flop the object and subject places. In the passive voice, object of the active voice becomes subject. Here, look at here. The bread here is the subject. And bake is the past simple, right? How can we change it? We added the past be form. The bread was baked, verb 3, by John. So was is a form of the verb be. It depends. If you're changing the present tense, then you need to use to be form of the present tense, which is am, is, are. But if you're changing the past tense, then you need to use be form of the past and was, were. And if you are changing the continuous form of the both present, past, future, then you need to use being, been, be, been for present perfect. So I want to show one very useful practical worksheet, and I recommend you to go to Google and download it for you, the PDF or the image format. If you write the passive voice chart, aloha aloha, it will be downloaded. Now, why it is useful? Because here you can see all possible tenses that can be converted to passive voice. Why I am saying that? Because there are also exceptions. Some tenses cannot be converted to passive voice. We will talk about it a bit later. Now let's look present simple. The teacher punishes me. Okay, the teacher is the subject of the sentence, right? Punishes, predicate, verb. Me, object. Why me is object? Because it's receiving the action, right? Okay, the teacher is doing the action because the teacher punishes me. Okay, so how can I change it into passive voice? Present simple into passive voice. So we will change flip and flop subject and object places. So in the passive voice, object will become subject. And subject form of the me is I, right? Then I will add be form of the present tense, I am, and verb 3, punished by the teacher. Okay, the teacher punishes the boy. Object of the active voice becomes subject in the passive voice. The boy is, why is? Because here, right? He is punished verb 3 by the teacher. Okay, what about present continuous? The teacher is punishing me, is punishing me, continuous form. The same. I am being punished. Always we use verb 3, but in the continuous form you should need to add being. It shows that you are using the continuous form. It shows that you continuously punished by the teacher. What about past simple? The teacher punished me. Oh, it did. Then I need to use be form of the past simple. I was punished by the teacher. The boys were, boys because be careful, were punished by the teacher. Continuous form the same as a present continuous. I was being. Being always is the same in the future, in the past, in the present. Just you need to indicate, if you want to indicate is it present or past, you need to pay attention to the be form. If it is in the past, use the be form of the past tenses. If it is present, then use the be form of the present tenses. Okay, then what about the present perfect? The teacher has punished me. Okay, then I have been punished. So see here we use being in the perfect tenses. We use being in the present tenses, continuous tenses. So in the just simple tenses you use only the be form. Let's continue. Okay, previously we did present perfect, but you see after present perfect there is no present perfect continuous. Do you remember I told you that some tenses cannot be converted into passive voice? One of them is present perfect, past perfect, future continuous, and future perfect continuous. These tenses, 4 tenses, we cannot convert to passive voice. I'm repeating. Present perfect, continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, and future continuous. So here you can also see how we can change past perfect. Being again remains the same here in all tenses. No difference is it past or present, but how you can show that it's past or present tense with the help of the had or have, right? In the present you use have, in the past you use had. Future simple. The teacher will punish me. I will be punished, verb 3, by the teacher. The boys will be punished by the teacher. If you see this and verb 3, then it's passive voice. What about going to? The teacher is going to punish me. Punish me, verb 1 in the active voice. In the passive voice, I am going to be, and verb 3. So you can say that it's a passive voice. And here is the modals and conditionals. Okay, now let us practice more from the movies.
And they organized a boycott.
And when was that boycott organized?
June 10th.
Let's look. They organize a boycott. It's an active voice. Why it's active voice? Because subject of the sentence organized a boycott. So subject of the sentence did the action, not received, did the action. That's the active voice. So how it changed into passive? The object of the sentence becomes subject of the sentence in passive voice, the boycott. And you remember the form of the passive voice, we add be form, organized in the past tense, that's why we use be form as past tense, and verb 3. So the boycott was organized. And when was that boycott organized? Okay.
June 10th.
So Thursday night, I'll pick you up.
Great. I'll be picked up by you.
Great.
Okay, let's look. I will pick you up. Active voice because I am doing the action. I will do the action in the future, right? I will because I will pick you up. And how can we change it into passive voice? You is the object of the sentence in active voice, becomes the subject of the sentence passive voice, and will form, and be we add, and verb 3. You will be picked up by me. I will be picked up by you. I'm not doing here the action. Someone is doing for me. So that's why it's passive voice.
Be picked up by you.
Great.
Okay, next.
I did it! You have been saved by me!
Okay, I have saved you. Active voice. I have done the action. But what about you? You received the action. You have been saved by me. Do you remember which tense is this? This is a present perfect passive voice. Why? This been, we understood that it is passive voice. But this one is only present perfect simple tense, right? Okay, let's continue. Third example.
Why are you out here?
My computer's been hacked.
By whom?
Okay, great. Someone has done the action. Someone has hacked my computer. We are emphasizing here someone is important because someone has hacked my computer. But in the passive voice, my computer is important. I'm emphasizing my computer. My computer has been hacked. By whom it's not important. But the situation is that my computer has been hacked. So see, in the present perfect tense, simple tense, we use only has, have plus verb 0, right? But in the passive voice, we add been. We added been. So my computer has been hacked. It cannot be is because we have here been. So it should be has. Okay, now I want to assign you homework to practice more. So if you go to the Key Skills 3 reading and writing part, page 172 and 173, there are 2 more exercises. It will be your assignment. Please practice there. Before practicing, I would like you to download the Aloha Aloha Passive Voice chart from the Google, and it will be easy for you to do your homework. See you next lesson.